It's the simplest expression. Smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. An upturn of the mouth. A brightening of the eyes. So easy. Making this the house with the best snacks. Kidless for the night. Like you're 20 again. A smile lights it up. Understands it all. Apologizes. Makes everything okay. And welcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people
How's your day going?
is a smile.
Thank you.
Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle.
Getting the right nutrition is essential to achieving and maintaining good health. Yet accessing balanced meals that also support health challenges and fulfill personal tastes is not always as easy as it should be. At Mom's Meals, our passion is to provide nourishment and deliver wholesome meals to the homes of those who need better nutrition to support their health and wellness, no matter where they live. It's the reason we've built our business from our own personal roots, caring for our clients as we do our own family and loved ones. Our menus are designed by professional chefs and registered dietitians to taste great and support the nutritional needs of common health conditions. Clients get to choose every meal, every order. Meals are delivered to any address, no matter how remote. Simply place your order, receive your delivery, heat, and enjoy. To learn more or view the wide variety of refrigerated meals available, visit momsmeals.com.
Hello, my name is Michael Moraine. I'm the editor of DSM Magazine. For the past few years, our company, Business Publications Corporation, has continued a series called Iowa Stops Hunger to raise awareness about food insecurity in Iowa, a state that prides itself on food production, but we still have a lot of work to do to feed people right here in Iowa. So the purpose of this series, both in print and with this video series, is to raise awareness about food insecurity and the challenges, and also shine the spotlight on some folks, some individuals and organizations who are working to feed Iowans and make the system work a little bit better for everybody involved. So we're really pleased to launch this video series with support from our presenting sponsor Hy-Vee, as well as support from Mom's Meals and the Principal Foundation, which help us spread the word a little bit further. So thank you to our sponsors. Today we have just two of the half dozen recipients of racial equity mini grants from the Iowa Food System Coalition. So we want to just talk with them to learn a little bit more. I want to bring in Shaffer Ridgeway with Southern Goods in Waterloo. Tell us a little bit about what you do with Southern Goods.
Yeah, well, Southern Goods is a produce farm here in the Waterloo area, located just outside of town. It's been around since 2019. It started as a project that I just wanted to do some practical learning to learn about soil health, and ended up turning into a small produce business that we started here where we focus on southern vegetables, but we grow a lot of different vegetables. We grow cucumbers, but our specialty is more purple hull peas and collard greens.
All right. Did you grow up in Iowa or you're from the South?
I was born and raised in Alabama. And so I've lived in Iowa for quite a few years, for like 25 years. So I guess, what do I call myself, an Iowan or a Southerner? But I think I'll always be a Southerner. But my kids were raised in the Midwest, so I have to take I have to lay some claim to that too. So yeah, we grew up in Alabama, both me and my wife.
So what was the spark? How did your interest in farming and growing Southern food, what was the spark from expanding that from sort of a backyard garden into a business?
Yeah, so as I said, I really wanted to learn about being a practitioner of soil health. I teach soil health in my professional career working for the Natural Resources Conservation Service. And so I wanted to learn more about that side of things. What would happen if I grew it with less tillage? What would happen if I was using cover crops and those things, right? So I kind of started this experiment. But then as I grew it, and I started growing these specialty crops that there's quite a few people in the Waterloo area that's from the South. And so I started learning about these people and the fact that they were getting older and they was no longer able to have backyard gardens, but they still wanted that produce that they grew up with, right? And nobody was growing them on a large scale. And so we decided that's kind of what led us into doing it and turning it into a business versus what we was just trying to do the soil health. To be honest with you, what really started me to growing the vegetables was my wife saying to me one day, that's a great idea that you have, but somehow you got to pay for this whole soil health research project you want to do. And so the vegetables really was to pay for what we was trying to do with the research.
It sounds like your wife had a good idea.
And my wife she's always the smartest one, okay?
That's good. We'll bring her on next time. Next time she'll be our guest.
Yeah.
So, what was the response like? Once you started distributing these, you must have gotten a good response from the community.
Michael, people don't believe when I tell them this story, but so the first year, 2019, we started growing these peas. And about the 1st of August, we started advertising to people that we was going to have them available. And about the middle of August, we started picking, and literally my phone rung for 30 days. 7 days a week, my phone rung with people saying, "Hey, I heard that you have peas available." And so after that time, I said to my wife, I said, I'm excited about this research project that I'm doing, but I think we have a business if we want it. And I needed her to buy in to say, I want it, right? And she said, I think, if that's what you like to do, go for it. And it just has grown from there. And really, the community showed us that they had a desire for what it was that we was growing. And it's been wonderful.
Tell us again exactly the kind of peas that you're growing that were so popular.
They're called purple hull peas. So what's kind of funny about them is the hulls are green, and then when they get mature, they turn purple. And they were people who don't know what those are, black-eyed peas. They're all in the same family. So black-eyed peas, purple peas, they're in the same family. You just pick them at different times.
Got it. All right. All right. Thank you for just giving a quick snapshot of your business. I want to bring in our next guest, Jonathan Lawrence with Eat Greater Des Moines. Hello, Jonathan. So tell us a little bit about what you do with Eat Greater Des Moines and the Iowa Farmers Union.
Yeah, with Eat Greater Des Moines, I'm what's called a value chain coordinator. And that is, a lot of people are kind of familiar with local food coordinators. But value chain kind of takes it a little bit to a little bit more of a perspective of the values that that kind of resonate with me and my work specifically, and finding people that align with those same values. And then with Iowa Farmers Union, I'm the education director. So I've been that since last October. So about a year now with IFU, and Eat Greater Des Moines about 2.5 to 3 years.
And what's the mission of Iowa Farmers Union?
Iowa Farmers Union is a grassroots organization that is dedicated to working with family farms, small and medium sized. Obviously, here in Iowa, we have a lot of major farms, very big scale, but a lot of times those small, medium sized family farms kind of get overlooked, or just get pushed out due to other factors that I'm sure we could talk about for a long time. But yeah, so dedicated to that, to sustainable farming practices, and just looking out for those small and medium sized family farms.
Do you find that there are specific disparities on small farms or medium-sized farms? Do those shake out differently along racial lines? Do you find that the Iowa Farmers Union is working to kind of even the playing field a little bit?
I would say for sure, just in general. The reality is there's not as many farmers of color. I mean, I think it's very on brand that you have Shaffer here, because he also is part of the Farmers of Color organization, and so that's really trying to build up more of the recognition of farmers of color here in Iowa. But yeah, Iowa Farmers Union absolutely tries to fight for all of those farms and making sure that there is somebody looking out for them, and just being an ally.
Schaefer, I want to pull you back into the discussion here. But what I appreciate about the differences here is, Jonathan, you're kind of seeing things big picture, and Schaefer, you are growing produce. You're in the trenches, so to speak. Are there things that you would like more people to know about the work that you do, especially as a farmer of color who is diversifying crops for a market that might be overlooked? Are there things that you would like more people to know about your operation?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring nutrient-dense, healthy food put on people's tables, right? And I think all the farmers, as Jonathan mentioned, I'm also one of the founding members for Iowa Farmers of Color, which is an organization that's kind of on the startup end and represent and bring together farmers of color. And one of the things that they always say is that we just want to be given the equal chance, the fair chance that everybody else get. Bring us to the table. They want to be at the table to have those conversations, to have access to land, to have access to capital that they can grow their farming operations. Probably 80, probably 90% of us in that group are produce farmers, but there's also some row crop farmers in there as well. And those row crop farmers would love to be able to have the opportunity to rent more ground, buy more ground so they can farm more. But most of the time, what people don't realize is most of the land that is sold in Iowa never make it to the market. It never comes onto the market for people to even have the opportunity to try to purchase more land. It's usually sold through the coffee shop or through word of mouth. And so I think I read not too long ago, maybe like 2% of the land make it to the market. And so when you think about that, from just that perspective, how do I grow the business? How do other farmers of color grow their business if they don't even know that there's land available? Okay. And then they got to have access to capital to be able to do that too. And that's a whole nother segment that you probably could do. But they just want an equal chance. That's the only thing I would say.
How can people help if they want to? If they want to help directly or sort of in a big picture way, what would you encourage people to do to help the cause a little bit? And a question for either of you.
I think in my case, and in most, like I said, most of the ones that farmers of color that I know, about 80, 85, 90% of them are produce farmers. Buy from a local farmer. Go to the farmers market, support. And my thing is, don't buy from me just because I'm Black. Buy from me because I have a great product. Buy from me because I have good customer service. Buy from me because you see me filling a niche that other people are not filling, right? And so that's what I would encourage people is get to know a farmer, buy from local farmers, because that makes all the difference. When we bond it in the grocery store, there is so small of an amount that farmer actually gets. And I'm not against grocery stores, just there's such a small amount.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good alley-oop to me. Something that IFU does is we have something called the Farmer Share, and it actually comes from the national branch of the National Farmers Union. And it's essentially a sheet that tells you, for example, how much you'll get if you buy tomatoes. The farmer is going to get like maybe $1 or even less than that from the full price of a tomato. So it's just understanding and kind of reorienting our audiences to understand that, you're not supporting the farmer the way that you think you are when you go to, these big national grocery chains. And obviously, they have their purpose, and we need national grocery chains. But when you build that relationship with your farmer, you can actually ask them, hey, how are you growing your food? Are you tilling? Are you putting chemicals on your food? I mean, when you really build that relationship with the food, um, you can kind of, rest assured that you're getting a quality product. And that's not always the case in other ways.
All right, I have lots of other questions. I feel like we could spin the discussion in a lot of different ways, but I want to thank you both just for giving us a quick snapshot of what you do. We featured a little bit of this in our latest issue of Iowa Stops Hunger. It's an annual publication produced by DSM Magazine and our colleagues at the Business Record. And I really appreciate your input. Keep us posted. This is an ongoing series. So as you are developing new initiatives or new products, or if you plant some new crops from Alabama that the rest of us in Iowa should know about, please let us know. Thank you both. Keep up the good work, and we will keep in touch, okay? Thank you very much. And I want to thank our viewers for just tuning in. If you want to learn more about this, you can find us at Iowa Stops Hunger online. So thank you both, and we will keep in touch.
This week's Hunger Insight is presented by Mom's Meals.
Food insecurity isn't always about unemployment. It's often about underemployment. 37% of Iowa households don't make enough to cover basic needs like housing, transportation, and childcare. When budgets tighten, food is often the first thing to trim. Hunger hides behind paychecks, and solving it means more than filling plates. It means addressing the systems that keep people struggling. Support policies and partnerships that help working families not just survive, but thrive.